We're gonna start.
We're
gonna start. Okay. Good to see everybody here. Welcome to the investing group. We have some new additions. Mario, do you want to explain what we've added to the screen?
Yeah, so we have a camera that moves around, so hopefully everyone did their makeup today. We also have a close-up camera for Eric, so he'll be front and center, president style. We have 3 microphones across the room, so whichever one's closest to you, just kind of like talk towards that one. Otherwise, watch the YouTube, like and subscribe. I think that's okay.
All right, let's just start by going around the room real fast. Just about yourself, Mario. You go.
Yeah,
we'll go this way.
Mario, I'm not in finance. I'm an architect by trade, but I'm here to learn a lot.
I'm Seamus. I'm a finance major at UIC going into my sophomore year, and I'm going to be a sector leader at PMT next semester.
I'm John. I am a real estate agent. I did trade stocks for a living a number of years back, and I'm here to learn from all you guys.
My name is Roberto. I graduated from UIC this May, and I'll be starting at Northern Trust next month. This is my first meeting, and I'm excited to learn.
Hi, I'm Sneha. I am a second year MBA in finance student at UIC and found out about this through PMT and through Eric. My goal is to pivot into finance. And my dream is to become a day trader, exactly like, you know, private, myself, working for myself, nobody else. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Anais. I'm an entrepreneur and a legal assistant, and I really like markets, so I'm here to learn.
I'm Marika. I'm in medicine. I'm also just here to learn.
Perfect. I'm Diana. For those that don't know me, I am a paralegal at an immigration law firm, and I'm happy to learn as well. So, yeah. That's it.
Hi everyone, I am a USC graduate. I've become more active in trading since I've joined this organization. I'm an incoming law student.
What's your name?
My name is Mohammed. I feel like everyone knows me already. For those this is your first time, my name is Mohammed.
My name is Al. I'm a student at UC. Been coming here for almost every single meeting. There's a lot of great ideas, a lot of smart people in here. There's a lot of value in it.
Hi everyone, I'm Connor. I'm at William Blair, and I'm on the product management team. It's my first meeting, so excited to learn from all of you guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Quinn. I just graduated from UIC with my bachelor's in finance. I absolutely love the stock market. Been trading and investing for about 5-6 years now. Been part of PMT for a while, my entire time at UIC, and very excited to continue that momentum into this group and keep these conversations going.
Hey everyone, I'm Jordan. I currently work at Ariel Investments, and yeah, I pretty much echo what Quinn says about looking forward to talking about marketing and everything.
Hi everyone, my name is Mohammed, and we are brothers. Might be a little confusing sometimes, but we'll work through it. I've been investing for over about a year. This is about like my 5th meeting maybe. It's always fun to see what everyone has to say. It's always a good time.
My name's Eric Simpson, and with John and Victor started this investing group, and it's kind of an offshoot of PMT, which I helped start at UIC and built the whole framework for. And you know, we're doing more of an open discussion format, and I trade stocks for a living. I live and breathe this stuff, and I'm just excited to keep growing this. And Victor?
Hey everyone, Victor Sanchez. Sorry I was a little late today. But I also work at William Blair. Good to see more representation here. But I've been in finance for about a decade now. And yeah, started this with John and Eric. Try to just, educate people, learn something, create a group of people who can share ideas in a space that has a lot of opportunity right now. So.
All right, so to start off, I kind of just threw this on here at the last moment because this just happened today. Yeah. Disclaimer, sorry. So nothing here is investing advice. Anything you trade or invest in based on this, that's at your own risk. And by being here, you agree to be recorded and photographed, even though we're not photographing today, but just as a, thing. And yeah, so Can't sue us now. All right. Sorry. All right. So last meeting, there were a bunch of these sort of small cap, micro cap Chinese scam stocks that ran sort of on anticipation of Trump's visit to China. And seems like that behavior has not really fully subsided yet. And today was probably the most outlier of outlier days for day traders, especially those who deal with small caps, short and long. This stock, Holdings, which is just some Chinese, what is it, Hong Kong. Let me just go into this. This is just to show the extremes of how crazy the market can be and the type of stuff I deal with every single day. Went up, yeah, it went up like over 3,000%. And then if you include after hours to 66, over 6,000%. It started the day at like $1 a share and just ran like gangbusters. If you didn't know, in the Discord, we started a new channel. It's called The Trading Floor. And it's for fun day trading, gambling or degeneracy or whatever you want to call it. And, why not start one when the pattern day trading limit has been lifted, as of June 4th, because I know a lot of you are just going to do it anyway. So, let's try to work together on this and not lose as much money. So I was in this. I think Quinn traded it. Some others may have been trading it or watching it. But yeah, it was bonkers. I think we were in from like maybe fours, high fours into like mid upper sixes, something like that. And then of course the thing goes like, to near 10, kind of tanks back down to 5. We thought it might be dead, and then out of nowhere it just blasts off to like, I think it goes to 13, and then goes to 15, etc. And then it gets halted on volatility. So what happens is if it moves too much too soon, based on like the trading volume, it's called a volatility halt. And these things can last for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or even longer, depending on just the orders and what they're showing at. And so I think the orders were so jammed up on the for the buy side that this thing didn't unhalt for like another 2 hours until like right before the close, ripped from like 20 up to like 40 something, and then halted again. And then was halted into after hours, reopened after hours, dipped a little bit back into the 20s, then ripped to the 60s, and then just is kind of messing around. And I think it's 30s, 40s right now. So a lot of short sellers blew up on this. A lot of short sellers, and a lot of kind of secret group chats. I just kind of. There's some group trading, but there's some just keeping tabs on each other, people who trade for a living, and a lot of people got destroyed by this. A lot of people survived, but shorting this absolutely ridiculous. And with this, usually it sparks sympathy runs. So what was the other one? MPT also moved like crazy. This one went from Mac is here. And then this one went from like 1s to 12. Just in sympathy with it, and then crash back down to like 4s, still several 100% move. Actually, it's like over 1,000% move at its peak, still up like a few 100%. And I think there may have been a few others, but yeah, so this is what happens in small cap land, just crazy stuff. But this is like the extreme. And problem is, like I said, a lot of these Chinese stocks trading on the US exchanges, I mean, they're not doing anything productive. They're just using the US exchange as essentially a free ATM machine. They're extracting money from it via secondary offerings after they pump their stock. And so eventually something's got to give. The regulators need to step in, but we don't know when. Usually what happens is, after enough people get burned, then long after the fact, they finally will make some new laws to try to mitigate it. But this has been going on for years now, and it's getting more and more out of hand. And I mean, I don't like it's as long as they can do it legally, they can do it. So it's like, well, if nothing's stopping them, then I'm not gonna be like, oh, they shouldn't be, it's like, they're just gonna keep doing it. Because there's no law against it technically. But, you know, just how they play these halt bans and how they manipulate these things and just take money. It's like the US exchanges or the investors in the US exchanges and a lot of these stocks, they're just being robbed. So I don't know. It's not really a large scale thing, but it's just sort of an example of when you go to the extreme ends of the market, you see all kinds of scamming and rule breaking that goes on. And it's like people think, oh, there's a lot of shady stuff that happens every single day, and this is what I deal with. So, you know, just an example of how crazy the market can be. But, you know, anyone have questions on this crazy small cap trading stuff, or should we move on to our regular topics now? No? All right. So yeah, just a fun thing. This is probably going to keep going on for the rest of the week, probably into next week. Usually when you get like 1,000% mover or multiple 1,000% movers, it's going to spark sympathy runners. So we're going to be playing these, you know, probably every single day, very actively in the Discord. So if you want to hop in, and this is not financial advice, but if you're interested in seeing insanity and seeing people trade insanity or try to, then, you know, feel free. All right, so Iran seems to be like, I don't know. So what's the situation? Is anyone still following it actively, or it's kind of winding down market-wise? Lots of posturing. We don't have to spend much time on this.
It's probably worth looking into. I think the big argument I'm seeing now online for why oil isn't going up, even when there's like new negative news, is just the demand destruction is going to be like the worst in history for like big oil. There's probably going to be a big focus on alternative sources of energy, clean energy, electric vehicles, as people go to purchase new vehicles in the next cycle. I don't know. I feel like that's all I'm seeing these days.
Okay, so Israel and Iran traded direct fire. So there's still some missiles going on between Iran and Israel. Okay, Iran launched missiles at Israel in retaliation for Israeli strikes in Hezbollah. Israel responded by targeting a petrochemical plant in Iran. Okay. Kind of a contained exchange, not a full reignition. Okay, Trump moved fast to cap it. Yeah, weren't there some rumors about him kind of like getting pissed at Netanyahu or something? I don't know if this is like confirmed, but it's kind of like the rumor, like, you know, kind of annoyed that they're still doing some fighting. Okay, told both sides to stop, immediately stop. On Truth Social, claimed both Israel and Iran are looking to do an immediate ceasefire with final negotiations on peace proceeding. Okay. Crucially for the market angle, he added that the blockade will remain in place in full force and effect until a final deal is reached. Okay. So yeah, we're kind of still in this, like, not a stalemate. There's a little bit of like fighting going on, a little bit of conflict, some stuff between Israel and Iran. Okay, just seems of more of the same. Seems like the market has mostly just looked past it. We're kind of priced it in. Like the S&P is what now? I mean, it did tank late last week, but it still ran like gangbusters in preceding weeks, and so it seems like it's kind of like not really pricing the war being a thing still. So yeah. All right. Anything else on Iran?
I'm going to tag on to what Victor said. I like the consumer sentiment.
Yes.
Is something we should watch. So my personal experience in 2001, gas prices exceeded $4 a gallon. I promptly went down the street and traded in my Escalade for a very fuel efficient small SUV. Got 32 miles a gallon. I was very proud of myself. But it forced me to give up a luxury item. Gas prices were outrageous. It never hit that number before. So I think that's got to be, if it continues, that's got to be. Hey, my brother, who's a liberal in California, just bought a Tesla. It's a smart buy. It's the best, Model Y is probably the best car in the world, right? But this type of thing is gonna move certain companies and certain stocks. But the longer it continues.
I could add something as well. I heard a thesis about, not really a thesis, I mean, it just kind of makes sense how the Iran war blocking off a lot of oil from Iran and everything like that. And just that Middle Eastern region, the oil there being quote unquote more expensive, it makes our American oil that we produce, because we're one of the largest producers in the world, or we are, I'm pretty sure, makes our oil relatively more valuable, and we get, the nation as a whole gets more value out of the oil that it's selling. So even though the gas prices are higher at the pump, it does end up being in a way on the world stage in a zero net sum game sort of thought process. We are kind of quote unquote winning from this war because our oil is just more valuable now. We're the only ones that can sell it to a lot of people. So that adds tailwinds to the market. Maybe the market might even be like looking at this in a good way, not just strictly negatively.
Jordan, did you have your hand raised or just? Okay.
Oh, well, there's an interesting development around the whole World Cup that's happening. How Iran currently said that they're going to step foot on U.S. soil for whatever the span of the matches, and then immediately leave for each of their matches. They said they're just going to enter Doha and leave as soon as possible. It's not that interesting.
That sounds like a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, no, it does sound like that too. But yeah, they just, because I think originally they wanted to be off like on Mexico and Canada for all their matches, but then they're pretty much like, we're not going to make that decision for you guys.
I'm kind of uninformed, but the World Cup is like a North America thing this year.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Canada, Mexico, and I think all three of Iran's matches are the U.S.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, anything else on Iran? Okay. Big topic I kind of wanted to talk about was, so Anthropic is kind of known for making very big statements, sort of like warnings about AI, et cetera, even though they are kind of the leader in AI. And so you wonder if it's like marketing or if it's like legit, probably elements of both. So they just wrote this article on us. It's called like getting towards, they call it recursive self-improvement. So I don't know if anyone's had a chance to look at this or heard about this, but it's basically like talking about how we're sort of on the track, maybe a bit faster than originally expected, where AI is getting to a point where it can just start building upon itself and improving itself. Did anyone have time to go through this and wants to talk about it? Al?
I think it's just it's a confirmation of Aschenbrenner's thesis from 2023 about how AI is just consistently improving. And in this paper, they lay out 3 scenarios based on how much development has happened with AI, and all of them are extremely bullish on it. It's just more evidence of the recent market uptake with a lot of the semiconductors and AI adjacent spaces, like surging forth. I think they're going to keep surging forth for the next 2 to 3 years, 4 years, for a long time. This is evidence that we're not in a bubble. And especially after the crash on Friday, it seems really healthy. And it seems that we're we're not, this just makes me more confident that we're not in a bubble, you know? Even on their barest case, on their like least impactful situation for AI, it's still super like, we need as many semiconductors as possible. We need as much energy as possible. And yeah, this graph is like a perfect view. Like it shows how much more effective and efficient the models are getting. And we're on an exponential curve. And I don't think we're close to the bend of it turning to an S curve yet. I think it's still going to keep getting faster. And they show that in the paper. I think they're being pretty unbiased. It's written pretty unbiased. But of course, take it with a grain of salt. If they make it sound scary and like it's never going to stop, it's good for them. They're the leader in it. And yeah, that's what it felt like reading it.
I think, what is it? Claude Mythos is supposed to be released to the public within weeks, right? I think they indicated that.
Yeah, they trained it like a month or 2 ago, but they didn't release it publicly, how they usually do for all the models.
If there's any more graphics that they put in here. Claude code session success rate, okay, just more, yeah, improvements, rapid improvements in the models, et cetera. Seems like, I don't know if this is, they're running into a wall. I know still they've, like we've been talking about lately, at least for me, what I've seen some, it's like they're running into them and OpenAI with ChatGPT, they're running into like kind of a wall. When you try to prompt it, it gives you kind of the answer, but not like the full thing like it used to give you, and you just keep having to sort of squeeze it out of it. So probably got to do more deals, just like we talked about last time, they signed a deal with SpaceX. And so it's like they're just willing to go to their rivals because SpaceX has XAI for compute. So we'll see how this plays out. Does anyone have thoughts on just this whole scenario, what that might mean for like employment in the future, people's jobs? You know, does anyone have thoughts on this, or anyone have a strong opinion?
They talk about it in the paper as well. But if somebody has a thought,
This one has, yeah, their own, that's what I mean. Someone has their own sort of like opinion on this.
I mean, I would say after reading the book on Naval, I would say find ways to leverage yourself.
Yeah.
Based on that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, at least me, I don't think, you know, there's portions of my job that I can already foresee getting eaten up by AI, a lot of the more process-driven items. So finding ways to just be unique in the workplace or driving kind of change that AI can't because it hasn't thought of it. I guess that's where my mentality's been at.
Yeah. Anyone else?
It's probably a good reminder to, you know, be an asset owner.
Yes.
Because I think those are going to be the ones who benefit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it doesn't really matter what happens to your specific job or jobs in general in the future. But I'll agree with Al. I think it's a bullish signal. I mean, there's a huge shortage in compute already, and this will obviously accelerate that, you know, significantly. And I mean, you can see in that I was looking more into the SpaceX IPO, and like they've just very sneakily switched from being a space company to be like an AI compute provider. Where it's like will very soon be their main like revenue item. So kind of interesting to see that, you know, I think Musk has already seen that and he's prepared to pivot and completely give up on Mars. I'm gonna call it now at some point in the next 5 years. And that's completely fine because they'll just be making cash hand over fist. But I think that's the long term money driver for a lot of these mega cap companies.
Well, it could be to get to Mars, we need to build even more upon the AI framework, and maybe this is just a more immediate pressing thing.
Fair, yeah.
But yeah, it's bottom line. I think it's probably going to get super crazy over the next year or two, and we don't know what the future holds. But it's good to be a capital allocator, you know, at the very worst.
I guess somebody's got to not be like the super bullish case here. And I guess I can do that. I don't know. I like all this stuff, obviously, but when I look at this and they say they're kind of saying we've achieved sort of like AGI of sorts, right? That's and I guess as somebody that still writes code every week, I don't understand how this so far at the current juncture isn't just slapping a while loop indefinitely on their code base and telling it to recurrently iterate itself. I'd have to drive into the proprietary. I don't know if we can. I don't know if there's,
right.
You know, I don't really understand if we can do that. But, you know, at some point, if you're writing code based on previous iterations of code and previous iterations of code, at what point are you introducing bugs into the system? And we are seeing evidence of that, right? You're having people push code into production that deletes all sorts of stuff, and then they've got to walk it back. Amazon had a big problem with this. Anthropic itself released their model into the wild. Somebody instantly, but based on a Claude code commit that leaked all their source code, somebody instantly grabbed it and rewrote it in OKLO, which now it's no longer proprietary because they wrote their own code base. So now somebody else has like a free Claude model out there based on better code. OKLO is what Jane Street uses, by the way. So those of you who've been following Jane Street made more money trading than any other financial firm in history last year, even more than the investment bank. So for a trading firm to do this is pretty crazy. And part of that is their whole shop is run on OKLO, a decision that they made 10, 15 years ago. And it's really powerful stuff. It's just hard to write, and they're really seeing the fruition of that. So the fact that somebody else came and rewrote all of Anthropic's code now in OKLO, that means they can use that locally, they can port it locally. So whatever, I don't see that as a competition. It's just kind of, you see what I'm saying here? The bugs aren't really worked out on this yet.
What's also interesting is from that, it's kind of like code seems like something that's, I'm not going to say it's like commoditized, but it's more now it's like, what's the moat? Because now everything can just kind of be out there and reverse engineered, or it's just there. So I guess the moat is what people can just do with it, like, and how they put things together with it going forward. But I don't know, and I'm not a software engineer person, so that's for them to kind of figure out. I'm sure some of them are going absolutely crazy with it. And I don't know if it's actually, like, I know Anthropic's Claude code is out there, but then whoever has it, can they build an Anthropic around it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And so it's not really a threat to them, but it's more of just like, hey, some of these issues are not quite worked out with it. There's a lot of bugs that are making headlines, right? Google just released something. I can look up the name of it, but it shrinks. It's a vectorized version of this stuff that basically you can use 1/10 the RAM that you previously could use to run models, which is quite the input. And I think that was part of the sell-off on Friday. There's some rumor of that. I checked out the GitHub repository. It's kind of interesting. And, that means that on a GPU that you have locally, you can now fit some of these models into your local GPU more than ever before. Yeah. So I don't know. It's all exciting stuff. I'm bullish on the space, but I don't know if we're really there on the AGI yet, is all I would say.
You made 2 points. First one, though, that if AI is rewriting its own code over and over again, the Anthropic CEO brought it to the world's attention that he thinks there should be, they're not going to do a moratorium on development, but there should be a worldwide council about how do we set controls in place. Because as this happens, who's to say that AI doesn't become either A, malevolent, or B, psychotic?
Interesting.
Yeah, because the smartest people in the world lose control of their thoughts at times. And so it begins to mimic human behavior. All of these other maledictions are very possible. It's an ethical question. Maybe this isn't the right forum for it, but I do think it's really an intriguing conversation.
I think it's worth talking about because I think it probably is a non-zero chance, like that it could go Terminator on us. You got to take that into account, especially if you're dealing with something that's much more intelligent, like in a lot of ways than us. I don't know if it can, if it's fully replacing human intelligence, but like, it's kind of like, and this is getting a little out there, but I've always figured, if we're going to ever encounter extraterrestrial life or something, better we discover it than they discover us. Does that make sense? Because if they discover us, that means it means they have the technological superiority to like travel all the way over here and all that, and they can just do whatever with us. And so it's like, better we be the smartest or in control ones. And if we're not in control, that's an issue. And that's a decent possibility. Yeah, Al.
Say two things, one to the point of the malevolence and then another to the point of the RAM. In that paper, they actually talk about it directly. They're already saying like we should all kind of slow down. Anthropic is saying that they should all slow down, but they're also recognizing that in this hyper-competitive market, even within a nation, within the world, they're talking about like if one person slows down, then somebody else is just gonna, all it takes is one company to just kind of quietly keep working on it before everybody can kind of figure it out in a safe way, and it all falls apart. But they're literally talking about it. Like I don't want this conversation to go and be like super science fiction, like, oh, this AI is gonna get level and everything like that, but that actually is what this company is literally talking about. So it is a very credible conversation to have. And then about the RAM point, I think you guys should look up the Jevons paradox. It talks about how when Victor knows what's up, I think. It's when an input gets cheaper, like something that kind of bottlenecks you from doing stuff. When it gets cheaper, the expectation is, okay, that means that people are gonna be able to afford it. That means that there's gonna be less use of it, but actually the opposite happens. There's a magnitudes of increased use of it. So if the RAM for these AI models gets cheaper, like the use to use it gets cheaper, that's not gonna mean that there's gonna be less demand for it. That means there's gonna be magnitudes more demand for it because people are just gonna use it a lot more. This already happened in AI with token costs. That's where I learned about it. Tokens used to be relatively more expensive, and people thought that once the tokens got cheaper, oh, okay, that means that AI is going to be cheaper. That means we're going to be able to do the same things as before, yada yada. But what ended up happening actually is that now the same jobs or the same problems use thousands X more tokens, way more tokens, 10,000X more tokens, and it's just way more demand than before. That could be why, as well, a lot of the subscriptions are more expensive because it just uses more. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so I just want to say a little bit on Jevons paradox. Yeah, so I believe the idea is that it came from the Industrial Revolution between things like transitioning from wood to coal.
Yeah, it says like 1860s or something.
Yeah, so it's been around for a while, but you know, and Jensen Huang's been talking about it too. You know, as token cost reduces, he made a claim that NVIDIA's going to hire more engineers, which is pretty against the narrative, but. You know, just the one counterexample is translators. Like if you're a translator doing any kind of, I don't know, international translation or just like normal book translation, stuff like that, those jobs are completely wiped out by AI. So just because it's getting cheaper doesn't necessarily mean it's getting more in demand. And obviously you could also go back to like the diamond water paradox, right? You know, water is essentially free. And diamonds are extremely expensive. So how can you justify that, right? You know, does water increase demand? Do a lot of people, sell water? No, nobody does. It's just want to add a little bit more to the conversation.
Al, do you have anything to say?
No, I like that. I like that counterpoint. I don't want to just drop some name or something like that, some fancy science sounding name. Just be like, okay, let's put all our money into it. I like that. I mean, I agree. It shouldn't just be taken.
Yeah. Mac, did you want to?
Yeah, sorry. And the standard, it seems like, example for Jevons paradox is, I think not anesthesiologist. It's like somebody who like reads diagrams like cartoon. I don't know. I can't.
Radiology.
Yeah, radiology. So that's kind of like the canon example between like 2020, 2015 to 2020 area.
So how would you think that it might apply to the inputs to inference? Do you think it's gonna like apply just blankly, like, okay, it's gonna get cheaper, we're gonna use more of it, or do you think that there's like extra layers to it that we should recognize?
Well, like, it's probably gonna keep getting a lot cheaper, realistically. Computes, obviously there's a huge bottleneck right now in compute around Taiwan and GPU costs and building GPUs. But yeah, I mean, SpaceX, I just listened to this interview with Jamie Dimon and Elon yesterday. And, he's talking about releasing V3 of Starlink pretty soon after the IPO. But there's also, I don't know if a lot of people read this unless you're kind of into tech, is like Terafab and the what's it called? The railgun thing on the moon, where you're launching satellites from the moon base. So it seems like very clearly his intention is to follow the Karpov scale or something like that. So increasing the compute, but basically harnessing all the energy of the solar system with the sun. And he really seems extremely focused on that. And there's a lot of research around how do you coordinate, hundreds of thousands to millions of satellites to have like a collective hive mind of interstellar travel. So anyways, like the ways of figuring out how to increase energy is like by several fold is kind of figured out by now. So it's really just like an industrialization thing. But yeah, so that's gonna really drop compute pretty insanely, especially with data centers too in space.
That actually that's perfect because there's a topic on the list I kind of wanted to get to a bit. NASA's like, I don't know how directly related it is, because I know SpaceX is kind of involved, but it seems like a lot of other companies are too. NASA's funding these moon-based missions. They're sort of starting to support that. Let's see, what was the whole deal? Okay, it doesn't seem like a whole lot though, in terms of like, you're talking about amounts for like these types of companies. 1 billion in contracts of 4 companies. Okay, these are not really. Blue Origin got some. Didn't they have a rocket that blew up or something? Yeah. Okay. So
destroyed the whole launch pad.
Yeah, I don't know what the timeline on
that cost $1 billion.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but NASA's willing to throw some money at this, and I know Elon's big on it. Okay, Jared Isaacman, founder of Shift4. Okay, he's kind of behind this. All right, Moonbase 1, first flight of the Blue Origin cargo only Mark 1 lander. Okay, yes. It's 2. Okay, so they have these like phases and what they're gonna do with that. All right, I don't know if that ties into the whole like launching satellites thing, Mac, or from the moon. Like, is that just we're just building a base on the moon so then we can start launching satellites from it, or is this kind of like not really?
Honestly, I don't know if it's connected, but
yeah, it seems like a small scale thing. But yeah, no, it was notable. So this is just kind of going with the whole SpaceX, you know, the timeline, like everything kind of lining up for SpaceX and the whole IPO coming. What is that, like Friday, I think?
Yep, Friday.
Oh boy.
Day after CPI.
Yeah, so I think we should probably still talk about SpaceX. There was a thing I had on this, but where was it? We got a lot of stuff I kind of want to like. Oh yeah. Well, okay. This is not really too related, but does anyone know Aswath Damodaran, an NYU finance professor who's known for his valuation analysis?
Yes, I steal his material sometimes.
Yeah. I like his blog.
Cited, of course.
Yeah, I don't always agree with his stuff, but I respect that he tries to like do evaluation on things that are like dang near impossible to value, like SpaceX. And he really dives into it. He does like a DCF and all this, and you know, here's the thing: you got to make a lot of assumptions. So you're kind of just shooting from the hip on a lot of things, but you know, he seems pretty logical about stuff. I think he ended up arriving at like 1.3 trillion.
Yeah. 1.2.
Yeah. And then SpaceX came out with this whole thing. And, you know, I don't know if this is just like pie in the sky pumping, but they talked about their total addressable market. And I think, what does this say? It's like 20 combined, so like 28 trillion something. Does the math make sense on this? Like, I don't know. Like, how do you get to that? Right? How do you get to that? So, but he acknowledges it. And, okay, he kind of, yeah, he kind of does his own thing. Yeah, all this, it's long. So I don't know. You can argue it a lot of different ways. I think that the truth is no one really knows for sure. They're going to IPO this thing at 1.75 right now. And I think me and Al especially have been sort of talking about and discussing like on Polymarket, like there's some of these bet tiers you can do. And I don't know if there's like an edge you can exploit here, but there might be. So the closing day, first day of the IPO, like what's it going to end up at? Usually there's kind of a pop with these things. So I feel like 2 trillion. Oh, these are ranges on the, let's see the, okay, yeah, 2 trillion, 2.5. I feel like this is a pretty good, okay, that's, oh, where's the other types of SpaceX bets? Hold on.
Search up SpaceX and it should be the one that's greater above.
Above this one right here?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
I should also add, since that valuation, they've announced another deal with Google like 2 or 3 days ago, where they're getting paid $1 billion a month extra, which increases their, depending on how you evaluate the company, that like increase their total revenue by 30% or so, which completely changes the numbers.
Brings down their price to sales ratio, right?
By a crazy amount.
Yeah, it was like near 100. Now it's down to like 40 or something. It's still crazy high. You know, from
like
60. Yeah, something like that.
Super bullish. Like it's not even part of the prospectus. Like that completely changed the math. And this market just did not respond to it, which makes me think that it's super irrational and there's a ton of edge.
Right. Does anyone want to guess where they think it's going to end up market cap wise? If anyone's dialed into this.
Is this by the end of the day?
By the end of the day, first day of trading.
I'm betting over 2.4 trillion for sure.
Yeah. I was kind of eyeing 2.4 as well. I'm like 29%. That's a decent risk reward if you think about it. Like that's like a, what, you get like a 3-to-1, kind of near a 3-to-1 payout. And I don't know what exact probability would be, but I'm like, yeah, I would take those odds. I would take that for sure. It's actually dropped. Well, it might have bounced back a bit, but I think like 3 trillion, I was saying maybe even 3 trillion. I remember that being like what, 14% maybe last week.
Yeah.
Now it's down to 7%. I think because we had the whole drop in the market lately, but still I'm like, yeah, 3 might be a stretch, but 2.4, I would say pretty solid. So, you know, if you want to look at prediction markets as another way of trading or investing, because now they're getting more liquid. And I think that they are kind of the future of financial markets in a way, to a degree. You know, I'm not saying you go for it, but it's like if someone wants to bet like say 2.4 here, I'd say that's a pretty solid risk reward bet, you know?
I kind of like the idea that Tesla's going to get a pop off this.
Yeah, what's Tesla been doing?
It's like, because Elon doesn't really care what the company is. He just like, he blurs the lines constantly. He sends engineers, you know, between each company and has certain ones work on other things. And I don't know.
Yeah, the way to look at it is just a total vertically integrated machine that's Elon Corp or something.
Exactly.
You know, and I think the chances are quite high. There's also a bet like, what, Tesla acquired by SpaceX.
Right.
A merger.
Right.
Announced by, okay, there's
41% by the end of the year.
I would say maybe 2027. I don't know why they're not showing. Is there anything else?
There's just not enough liquidity for it.
Yeah, but seems like sometime in 2027 seems to be the expectation. I could totally see that. And, you know, if you want to build some more hype, get some more funding, raise more money, if you want to send Optimus robots to start building your giant moon base, right?
Yeah, that's the play.
That seems like the play.
I could see them after SpaceX goes public, Elon could turn around and write like $1 trillion contract for 10 years of robots with Optimus robots. And then suddenly Tesla's like off to the races.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, we're just going to buy the whole company.
Right.
Oh, at $1,000 a share. Oh, and guess what? That triggers my $1 trillion pay package.
That's right.
I could see it.
What's the whole deal? Someone told me he has a pay package about that aren't the incentives involving like getting to the moon and getting to Mars or something?
No, he just has to perform. He has to, I don't know, it's, do you remember what it is? You were just in my Fin 300 class where I worked out the whole example and put it on the final exam. I wrote this whole thing up, but basically they've got to increase, they have to create a sustainable actual revenues. Like it's tied to a massive revenue increase. So it's not just like stock prices. It has to be real hard dollars.
Tesla
And
or SpaceX?
Tesla. Or are you talking about SpaceX?
That was SpaceX.
I think
Oh, okay.
SpaceX has those.
Oh, the SpaceX pay package. I thought you were talking about the Tesla pay package.
Well, you look that up. I just want to say, I was looking more into just like these indices that have fast tracked its inclusion. It's a ton of buying pressure in a very short period of time. Russell can add it in the first 5 days, and NASDAQ can add it in the first 15 days. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Musk has a lot of friends, so you have this buy pressure that's like almost mandated, and then maybe you announce a couple more deals. Maybe the current administration announces some deals for Elon, and a few other of his, mega cap friends announce some other deals. Like, I think this thing can go insane in a very short period of time, just because everyone's going to try to front run this.
I'm actually curious, off the top of your head, it's okay if you don't know, but I'm wondering off the top of your, just, do you know if, for the S&P, doesn't it involve something about like profitability or something? And I think there's some speculation about the Google deal being like a little maneuvering to get to that.
It does.
Also helps for the S&P inclusion.
Yeah, I think you need like, I don't know the exact number. It's like 2 out of your last 4 quarters to be or like the average of your last 4 quarters to be profitable. But they already said they're not fast tracking, so it won't enter the S&P 500. At the very earliest would be like mid-December.
Right.
Which, funny enough, would line up right with the end of the lockup period.
Absorb that.
If that is when they decided, obviously there's a board, the S&P 500, or a committee or whatever it's called. They have something. It's a group of people that decide. So there's no guarantee that it happens in December. But that would be interesting timing for sure.
Going back to this whole like milestone thing, Elon pay package. There's a vests in 15 equal tranches tied to specified market cap targets, plus a second condition. For any tranche to vest, both the applicable market cap milestone and a human colony milestone are met. The top market cap milestone is 7.5 trillion, and the operational condition is establishing a permanent human colony on Mars with at least 1 million inhabitants. The smaller award is a restructured version of the deal Musk had at XAI that carries data center milestones. Okay, interesting. I don't know, Victor, maybe Mars is still in the plan, like let's get 1 million people on there. And
well, didn't we just read that that's his primary?
Victor, did you read the book?
No.
I think Musk has historically shown he's never afraid to pivot to a newer idea. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's just my guess. I'm not saying he's not going to completely do it. I just don't think it's the money driver for the next decade or 2.
Yeah.
Or 3.
I know there's a lot of issues that go
at least. I would say like 3 decades at the minimum.
We haven't even solved like what? Don't humans lose a lot of bone marrow or something when they're in space long? And there's all kinds of health issues that we don't,
I think we get AGI before we get people on Mars. So
there's a lot going on.
Just looking at it that way.
Right. All right. Anything more on SpaceX? The IPO? Yes.
Well, I'm just wondering, does anyone have any insight into like fidelity / minimum for retail investors to invest in SpaceX?
Just give it more demand, pretty much.
But have they done that before, or is this like the first stock that they're doing this for?
I don't know about fidelity. I know brokers have offered like pre-IPO shares, before. I feel like a lot of it's just depending on like, they probably go to like the biggest accounts first, is my guess. I don't know.
Actually.
What's it going?
How's it going? I don't know about Fidelity, but I'm Robinhood personally. And they're just doing a random draw on IPO day on who gets filled, which means I'm totally in. But I'm not sure about the other brokers though. But
I know some of the main big ones are getting it though. But I've heard from some people it's like they don't have a big enough account, or it's just not. There's only so much, and if they can get some, it's like tiny. It's like
Keep in mind, Robinhood's whole play is like for the people or whatever. So
Eric, do you have the Discord on this computer?
I do. Do you want me to log in?
I just dropped a kind of funny meme on this and then just.
I think we can.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
For the Discord, yeah.
That's fine, that's fine.
Yeah, people, but feel free, the Discord is getting more active gradually, so definitely, check it out.
That's a reward for joining the Discord.
That's right.
Fun
And also,
memes.
I say it, in the welcome email, but, Al, used the Claude bot to make this thing where we can all sort of call upon Claude Opus and, use the pre-existing investing prompts like the ones I built, et cetera, or anyone you come up with, and we can sort of do our own research and see each other's research, and then we can do group research on top of that. And we've found some really good ideas and pieces from that. I think a number of the stocks in our portfolio are from just digging in with that bot. So it's really cool stuff.
How closely to your thesis or your approach to IPOs are you going to stick on this? Because you said you wouldn't buy an IPO for at least 6 months after it.
I don't know, it's not a hard rule, it's just kind of a basic guideline. Typically, the IPO process is kind of a pump and dump. And no doubt, the whole thing with, doing the rounds, the whole Jamie Dimon interview, it's part of the whole road show and getting the attention for it. But that's just how the game goes. But usually with I don't have the stats off the top of my head. I can pull it up, but typically with the big ones, they end up doing pretty well within a couple of years. But they all have a sizable drawdown at some point, So let's just know your risk. I think I'll say this, and I think I said it last meeting. Do I think SpaceX is going to be higher as a stock 5-10 years from now versus yes. Yeah. But it doesn't mean it can't drop 50. If you look at Meta in 2012 when they IPO, they dropped 50%, 60% or something. And they didn't come back for another year or so. And I remember the news headlines at the time were oh, what a failure this is, blah, 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 Zuckerberg, oh, he's so stupid, all that. And then they just crushed it from that point on. Quinn, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to go back to Victor's point a little bit here too. I'm very curious how many shares are going to be changing hands.
Yeah.
I'd imagine people are trying to buy on IPO day and hold for a little while. I think this IPO is going to bring investors out of the cracks that haven't thought about investing until SpaceX goes public for years. There's a lot of retail investors who will open a Robinhood account just to buy SpaceX. And what's most interesting is a point that I think Mario brought up a few meetings ago. They're only listing 5% of all available shares. And the lockup period is 90 days. We know that private investors are also subject to this lockup period. So are people going to be front loading, buying these shares, holding on to them, not selling? Well, at 5% of $1.8 trillion, that's $90 billion. That, I can almost guarantee that amount of money is going to be flowing in from retail. I don't know about retail alone, but with options and with leverage, you can assume. Now look at the institutional investors and the people who are going to be running this play of, oh, we're just going to beat the indices before they get in, right? So the real question is, are people going to be buying and holding? Are they going to be flipping it? Right. I think it's really going to seem like a low float company for a little while. It might.
Yeah, for a mega cap, it's definitely going to be, and we mentioned this last meeting, but it'll be a compressed float. And from a trading perspective, that's like gunpowder. That's gunpowder. That's like fuel for some kind of pop.
And if so, from the retail side too, I don't know if you guys have gone to the SpaceX website, but all the brokers are listed there, including the ones not participating, to so people can be hey, why can't I buy SpaceX on your app?
That's funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah, this is, and I mean, I know we asked this last time, but show of hands, who's buying SpaceX? Who's buying? Okay. Yeah. Roberto, we haven't heard from you. Do you want to?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that long term, this is going to be a great performing company.
Sure.
I agree with what you said. We might see a drawdown within maybe the next year or two because of all the hype around this company. But the hype online around SpaceX is very big, so I think it's going to get that attention. And then the short, small amount of float only 5% is being traded. So there's all these factors that I think are going to cause a big bull run early in its IPO. So I'm getting my brother in on this too, getting me in, and we're just going to hold long term.
I'll say this also, I've been doing a lot of research on this, and it's impossible to find anybody who has any case to short this IPO. There's not one person who's willing to, I should put it on the line.
Yeah. Isn't that worrisome though?
No, I think that's a great thing. We gotta get on IPO, just keep holding it. Get it cheap, I feel like it might never even get down to 135 ever again after IPO. I wouldn't be surprised about that. I'd say it's 50-50.
I think it's very clever they price this thing. Like, I know stock price technically doesn't matter, but there's a psychological component to it. And I've mentioned before, Jim Cramer, love him or hate him, he's actually a very smart guy. He has his autobiography. I recommend it, Confessions of a Street Addict. And when he worked for TheStreet.com, when they IPO, he talks about this whole process. He even talks about like why you price something per share, like sort of in this $17 range or whatever it is. And with SpaceX, just add a zero to that. But there's a psychological component to putting it at like 130 something, It's like you can prime that thing for a pop over 200. It's a human element to it. And then I even saw like a long thread by, I think one of Reddit's founders or something. Maybe he was CEO at one point, but he talked about like when they IPO'd Reddit and that exact same sort of thing. He's like, oh yeah, why they're pricing it at this. And it was just a much longer winded way of saying it, but it's like there's a psychological component to why they're doing it like that. They are playing for the pop. He said the IPO pop is justified because there's a lot of investors in the roadshow who are taking risk and they need to be compensated for that risk. I don't know, but everything that the compressed flow, just the whole like what they're doing, it just seems like I'll be shocked if there's not some kind of pop. Maybe it's a pop within the day it takes, but I think a pop of some sort.
What price will the IPO?
What is it, 130? 135. Yeah, but we'll see what it opens at, right?
Solid price.
Yeah.
So if you get selected, you'll get 135.
Yeah.
I'm very curious with CPI the day before, the market's gonna be scared. We're forecast. I don't know what we're forecasting, but I think I read it has to stay below 4%, which is very high. But I know that the higher oil prices will be reflected in this report. If that comes in hotter than expected, the market's gonna be very
plus 4%,
upset,
I'm hearing.
Plus 4%, okay. So anything more than that, the market's gonna be very scared. We saw how it reacted to the recent jobs report.
I haven't really been paying too much attention to the recent CPIs, but how much has it been factoring in? Because again, the market, we have to think about the weightings here. The market, like a lot of the market is very big tech, speculative. It's not as sort of, how to say it, consumer weighted as it used to be.
35% of the S&P is tech right now.
Yeah, and probably a lot of things like indirectly related to that too. So I'm not saying that it matters. It's a factor. And it is, especially with this war going on.
Yeah. Just real quick, before we switch over to CPI, just one more bull catalyst that I found. I don't know if you guys have heard me say this before, but I always say follow the grift. Been saying that since like roughly November 2024. And it's worked out pretty well as an investment thesis. You can ask anyone who owns Intel stock. But I'll tell you this, a recent Bloomberg report revealed that 10 Trump administration officials hold millions of dollars in SpaceX and XAI equity. And so I was asking Gemini, I'm like, could the administration put out things to pump up the stock? And Gemini, as cute as Gemini is, said the primary reason the administration might avoid announcements during those 15 days is conflict of interest scrutiny. Which, if I was a gambling man, I would say hasn't stopped it and will continue to not stop them to do so. So again, just another catalyst for, I think, this thing to go real bonkers where there's a lot of people who want this thing to do well in a very short period of time.
Yeah, I think kind of a crazy market now, but come in. Yeah, you just walk in. It's
That's in group?
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry about it. Treasury 60?
Yeah. What's your name?
My name's Afif.
Okay. Yeah. I saw you. Yeah, with LinkedIn. Okay, got it. Yeah. Nice.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry about it.
So, yeah, I mean, basically, if Trump says to buy the dip, or if he says to it's hard to go against that. Kind of hard to.
Trump's definitely gonna be like, it's a great stock.
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna say that.
Finally public.
Wasn't there a report lately that I think they even floated the idea, they haven't officially done it, but they floated the idea of taking stakes in the AI companies. I think they floated that on the 5% NASDAQ drop.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Also, another headline that, I don't know if you want to talk about this too much in detail, but again, the administration has mentioned taking stakes in drone companies. Swarmer, AeroVironment, et cetera. Did we dive into this last meeting? I forget.
No.
Really? All right. We can go over this a little bit.
We did talk about drone companies separately though.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're done with CPI then?
Do you want to talk about CPI more? I mean, I feel
No.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll just see what happens when it comes out.
If it's really bad, then it's gonna move.
Right. Let's see if it just stays in range or not. Yeah. All right. So, thing is, I don't know. Besides AVAV and Swarmer, I don't know how many drone stocks there really are. Let's see how AVAV's done lately. Okay, tiny bounce off the bottom. Still been down. John, you never bought back in, right?
Not yet.
Okay. John had it. He sold the top, or one of the tops, which is.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, I got a 2x out of that in about 6 months.
That's right.
So I don't know.
Hard to do.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted some aerospace and defense stocks.
I would rather be lucky than good.
Okay, May 28th, yeah. Wall Street Journal reported Pentagon's in talks to fund US drone companies, and crucially, it can include, okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, okay. So I don't think this is a whole done deal, but yes, the drone stocks did get some bids. Seems like the smaller ones, Unusual Machines, UMAC.
There is a defense angle to SpaceX. I don't know if y'all thought about that, but
That was in the journal today.
yeah, it's the ultimate, space is the ultimate high ground. There's this weapon system where you can just drop a titanium rod from space, and the force is gonna be like the impact of like a small meteor
That was
strike.
the plot of a James Bond film.
I know, and they got that from the defense industry.
Yeah.
It was the plot, and it turns out they're really gonna do that.
All science fiction becomes reality eventually.
That's right. Some Dr. Evil character up there. Hopefully not.
So it seems like a lot of these drone companies are just small, mid-cap, speculative, pre-revenue, low revenue names. So, invest at your own risk, but,
Andrew just destroy the space, sort of.
yeah, I mean, they're not public, but, I think they'll get they have the connections, they'll get the funding. They kind of do a lot of stuff, not just drones. They just do a lot of hardware, software stuff militarily, but the whole, that whole Founders Fund, Teal, PayPal Mafia network, Palmer Luckey, et cetera, those connections, I mean, that's going to matter a lot for them.
Let's see a great example of what that announcement with NASA was going to pump money into the Lunar project. Look up Fly.
Oh, Firefly?
Yeah. Look at it for the last month.
Crazy one. Yeah, that's been another low revenue speculative crazy one. But yeah, I know they had run quite a bit in recent months. And then now they've dipped. Probably had to at some point.
John, what was that cameras on the satellites in space thing? Which stock was that?
I don't know.
Where they use it to track parking lots.
Oh, right. That was Planet Labs. PL.
PL. Can you check it on Finviz, Eric?
Planet Labs, yeah.
We talked about this in the war room for a little bit. I really like their thesis. I think
Me too.
Upside.
I did lately. Okay.
It was just too expensive. But now,
Wow.
now look at that RSI graph right there.
Yeah, that's all you can really use to justify, because I'm looking at the valuation here and it's like, well, who knows with this too.
Yeah, but what is valuation?
Yeah, exactly.
Still asking after all these years.
I'll say this, and no offense to John, but I think, better this than quantum, just saying.
Okay.
But yeah, you're still really,
I told you, I have my toe into quantum, that's
Yeah.
all.
yeah. All right.
Better than your leg.
Oh yeah, here's another topic I did want to bring up. Robinhood unveils tools that let AI agents make trades and credit card purchases on users' behalf. Does anyone plan to take advantage of this or use it or trust this?
What is this? That sounds amazing.
So now you can just ask an AI agent on Robinhood to trade for you and buy stuff for you. Just do everything for you.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Honestly, I think a lot of people are probably better off doing that, like having it make those than actually making decisions themselves. But
Yeah, it's kind of scary. All you do is copy a link and then it's done.
like, what is it?
Have you done this? Have you done this?
No, but I got prompted for it and I was like, all right, I'll take a look. And it's like, just copy this link into your favorite AI and you're good to go. And I was like, that seems too easy.
Okay, I gotta see what this is all about. It's a trade, huh? Like day trade, or now it can day trade, right?
Yeah, so I guess the idea is like if you set up your whole thesis, your philosophy into an AI, and you okay it to just buy and trade stocks for you, it'll just do it all day long. That's it.
Wow. The algorithms are going to run circles around that.
Yeah, this is going to be absolutely crazy. This is going to be for market makers.
Jane Street's gonna have another record.
Yeah,
God,
market
yeah.
makers. It's just going to be like, okay,
Yeah.
free money.
We'll find our own arbitrage opportunities with this too.
I'm just waiting for the story of like someone who ran out of credits and couldn't get out of a stock in time or something.
That's also hilarious.
Okay, it went live May 27th. Agentic trading, agentic credit card. Yes. Okay, Vlad Tena frames it as mission extending to AI agents. Okay, yeah, you can deploy AI strategies with agents from Claude, ChatGPT. Okay, and they're also going to offer crypto and option support next. So, can you imagine trades like with Robinhood?
Oh,
like just yeah. Buy
And it's gone.
Zero DTEs. Yeah, this will be interesting. Gosh. Yeah. So this goes with my whole theory of the market just at least for the next couple of years is definitely becoming more of a gambling house. Like they're just throttling this up to the max. Nothing's gonna slow this down. And a lot of people are just gonna probably get screwed in the process, but it's gonna be good for brokers.
But one more shout out for aerospace. I think Rocket Lab as a alternative to SpaceX, or
that's about the
very good, very vertically integrated company. I know you own some, Eric.
A little bit now. I sold too much earlier, but very speculative.
That's how cheap it trades.
65 billion market cap. But they do have successful launches consistently with their Electron rocket. It's a small rocket, but it's hard to get into orbit, It's hard to get successfully into orbit and do it consistently. So it's like them and SpaceX basically. Even though SpaceX is many, 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 many times bigger. But Rocket Lab is working on a medium payload rocket, the Neutron, which I think it'll ultimately be successful. It's just a matter of that's going to take a lot of testing, and we're going to have failures with that, of course, because space is hard. You have to overcome you just have to get some rockets out there and see what happens. You're going to have some blow up. It is what it is. And you just learn from it. What were you saying, Victor?
I was just going to say, I was reading on Friday, I own some Rocket Lab, and obviously the broader market was down, so your speculative stuff gets crushed on that too. But I think for space stocks specifically, I think that Google deal that SpaceX made that like has now made their valuation look less crazy also hurt a lot of these space stocks. So I think if you see a crazy run up in SpaceX post IPO, I think you're going to get a lot of sympathy plays like Rocket Lab that will say, well, SpaceX is now trading at, call it a $2.5 trillion valuation. These stocks need to trade at a similar multiple. So they'll move up, hand in hand with that. So I think it could be a catalyst for the broader, call it like aerospace.
You can get sort of a longer, medium term type trade out of that. Now whether they actually execute, right? You don't know, but it's like, SpaceX is this, and Rocket Lab's market cap should be like this. It's kind of a way to play it.
What is the multiple for Rocket Lab right now?
Well,
they're pre-revenue.
96 times sales.
96 times sales. There's no earnings, and it's just revenue, and essentially now all of that's just from the Electron.
Well, it's
which
funny.
is not a big.
When they peaked at about 122 times sales, which is essentially what I think SpaceX was originally priced at or valued at. Sorry. So I think you could easily see this thing run up again if SpaceX has a great debut.
Yeah, got to factor in those SpaceX relative size and also their vertical integration, having Cursor, having XAI, having Google and Anthropic kind of locked into deals.
Fair.
Having Elon, even though Peter Beck of Rocket Lab is pretty good too, but not Elon level. But
Yeah, I'm not saying it should trade at that. I trimmed a bunch when it was at about 150. When it was at like that 120, 125 price of sales, just because I was like, this is stretched even for the speculative, allocation of my portfolio.
Right.
But yeah, I think just something to keep an eye on.
All right, so let's look into, there's another, one more topic I kind of wanted to get into. I think it was Meta. Yeah, so Meta is launching subscriptions for Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, subscription tiers. I don't know what it's like a few bucks or something, several bucks. Does anyone have thoughts on this? Is anyone going to pay for a subscription to anything Meta?
No.
What is what extra value does this add? I'm curious.
Probably not free, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think it's like similar. There's subscriptions on X, right? Like on Twitter. And what ended up happening is anyone who was established or was like influencer level essentially had to pay the subscription. So I think it's like kind of a similar deal where if you're already big on the platform, it's going to become like an expense for those.
I could see a lot of Instagram people probably paying for this because they obviously want a lot of people are like wannabe influencers, or they want the clout, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know how with WhatsApp, what that would be, but I'm sure they have plans. It's hard to bet against Zuckerberg, even though not everything with him has worked. A lot of things do work, and he always plays the risk reward probability game very well. So I'm not going to bet against this, whatever they're thinking, and kind of a cash cow. Yeah.
Meta released subscriptions on Instagram last year for like a blue check mark, and it doesn't seem to have been successful. Not a lot of people have bought it. I bought it. I think it's cool. $10 for a blue check mark.
What does it give you besides the blue check?
Gives them a blue check mark.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I'm official now.
So we'll see how this goes, but I don't think it's going to be that impactful unless they add more features than blue check mark.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
I read that Instagram Plus is going to let the users see how many people have saw the stories repeatedly over the time. So I think for the users who are very much into romance, or people who are very influencers are gonna buy into this, pay $4 a month.
So people are gonna be like, who's stalking my?
Yeah,
I want to know who checked it.
20% of the user could possibly buy into it.
Interesting.
I think they're actually milking this program, milking this so well.
I think a good way to figure out how successful it's going to be is to look at Snapchat and their premium feature. I don't imagine they could do much more than Snapchat did. It's exactly the same stuff. You do stuff, little check mark.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to figure out how much it's gonna go, how much it's gonna do.
I like to add something in that too. I mean, like for those who have like LinkedIn Premium, right? So that's like one thing. If we have to pay like a subscription per year for LinkedIn Premium, you get to see like who, like, you know, how many profiles you've got within like, you know, the past year,
Sure.
90 days, 28 days, and even 14 days, and you know, I think you're able to like, you know, see like who actually viewed your profile. And I think a couple of years ago too, they even what's called add a feature where if you're a premium member, or they can even see who your viewers have also viewed on LinkedIn. That's it for premium member. And also, if you're a LinkedIn Premium member, right, you also get access to LinkedIn Learning. So if you want to learn a new skill, you can just use that, like LinkedIn Learning. I think that's a feature. So, and also, I think email credits, right? So if you want to like you're trying to reach out to a recruiter, right, like for a company you're interested in, you can also like do. Yeah, I think you get like a set number of email credits per. I'm not sure if it's per month or per year, but yeah. So I think that's what it is. So and. I mean, I use it like, you know, I use LinkedIn Learning if I want to like, you know, essentially improve my skills for maybe with like coding or like learning new skills. So
kind of like a microtransactions type model.
I mean, I use
having
it and
games.
I still have it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. I think overall though, you know, who's invested in Meta? Who has Meta stock? Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about this from an investing perspective?
It's just more like avenues for revenue for the company, which I think Meta's kind of been lacking. They've been pretty flat, especially since getting rid of the metaverse. I think we looked at it into it a couple of meetings ago. Like 95% of the revenue is like ads or something. So whatever they can do to integrate different avenues of revenue.
All right.
I'm personally invested in Meta. I personally believe the companies who spent the most in the AI hardwares and data centers and all those capital investments are going to dominate the whole future, because Meta personally, they have so much data they can use, and with those AIs they can personally just like dominate the whole market. I think so. I'm personally invested in Meta, and I think they got people hooked into their platform. Let's
see here. All right, we got some other topics we could go into, unless someone wants to really talk about something else that they want to bring up. This is more of sort of a business case study type thing. I think Lululemon's, the founders trying to take back control of the company because they've been struggling. There's the Citron research guy. I don't know if you know Citron Research, but he's facing like 20 years in prison. We can talk about that for people who are kind of more in the know on the short selling trading stuff. Let's see. More AI infrastructure. Berkshire investing $10 billion in the Alphabet, Google private placement, capital raise. They're raising $80 billion. Wow, crazy. DELL. You mentioned DELL and NetApp, and both of them rocketed on the
Nobody
Look at
listened
that.
to me. I'll do my victory lap right now.
What else do we got? Oh yeah, NBIS is now. Me and Al are definitely down into this one. NBIS, NeoCloud, largest stake in Leopold Aschenbrenner's Situational Awareness Fund. Right?
I'm not watching it.
That's his largest holding now. He just disclosed it. Wow. The new filing. Like that was not in the 13F. That was from March 30, holdings as of March 31st. And so that was sometime from April to May, he initiated that position in NBIS. NBIS is now his biggest position.
Pull it up on Finviz because it didn't pop up today like all the other ones did.
They had been running a lot before, I think. But yeah, this is like bigger version of Iron, third-party data center, you know, doing a lot of deals to provide compute for the big techs. 50 billion market cap, but you know, a lot of the value is speculative, future expectations. I think it will come in. I think they're in a good position.
That's what, as of 45 days ago?
So sometime, it's not like, sometime in between, the estimation was like after March 31st and then before May something. That's when he initiated. So it must have been
I think it's a 45-day from the report.
somewhere in here. So it's definitely run since
Wow,
that.
it's run a lot.
Yeah.
How much of his portfolio is it?
5%, 5.6%.
Yeah.
Isn't his number 2 and 3
5.6.
holdings AI data centers? I think it's.
I mean, yeah,
Or
he's
weave and
basically
iron.
going all in AI infrastructure.
He doesn't have anything besides AI.
Right.
Like there's energy, but the energy.
I just saw a tweet that his fund is now bigger than, I think it's like, was it Bill Ackman and Dan Loeb, who are some prominent hedge fund managers who've been around for like 30 years or so now. His fund is bigger.
Information that was gonna happen. Then, or in the South Loop on along Motor Road where I am, probably now, before the 78 or the Lakefront or the Bronzeville Lakefront. Once those 3 things build up, it becomes a city unto itself. And
Yeah.
with all of these amenities and all of the new retail and restaurants and all this stuff, it becomes the new exciting place to live. So then you're gonna see a pop, that's why I'm hoping to stay another 20 years to see that play out in my residence.
Cool.
All right. Anything else on the Bears? Anyone else have thoughts, or should we move to the next topic? All right, Mohammed, because you brought this one up, the one about the data center residential thing in Virginia, where it's like they're pooling together to kind of sell for like 4 times the price. Should we talk about that one a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah. So what is it? Something like this. The Regency, yes, the Regency, 143 home subdivision. So yeah, there's an article, it's kind of behind the paywall, unfortunately. I think it was a Business Insider article. So this guy, he's in this Virginia, so Virginia is very data center heavy right now. His neighborhood, I guess he's been like the HOA president or something, but it's 143 homes. He's kind of trying to convince everyone to sell their houses because these companies want to move in, build data centers, and they're willing to like pay up for it. And so he's trying to convince his neighbors, hey, let's all sell, but we're gonna like really kind of squeeze it out of it so we can get a good selling price for this. And so I don't know if they're pulling it off. It seems like they're moving in that direction. Yeah, so they're agreeing to sell, or they're trying to sell their properties to a data center developer for $4.4 million per acre, which is about 4 times the price of an average property, which is about 1.1 million. Total deal worth over 500 million. So that's kind of the plan if they're gonna be, if they're gonna sell to them. And so it's interesting because I don't know if this is gonna become a widespread thing now that we have more data centers coming up, or if it's kind of an isolated thing. Or I'm sure there will be kind of more cases similar to this if they see like they can pull it off like this. But does anyone have thoughts on this? Because I know there's a lot more talk about, especially politically, just about data centers and then people living near them. And there's a lot of push. And this is going to become more and more of a thing in our meetings too. We're going to inevitably have more of these things where it's like local data centers. Yeah. Did you want to?
Yeah, I would say like this is actually like the complete opposite out of, I think, Utah. Is that where Kevin O'Leary is putting in his data center and having that fight? So it's interesting to see the opposite.
What was the Kevin O'Leary thing? I saw headlines on that, but
He decided to shrink the size of his data center.
Oh,
cut
yeah.
it in half.
Oh, we did. Nice.
You from 10 gigawatt to 5 gigawatt though, like still 5 gigawatts.
Poor Kevin O'Leary. Did you reduce the acreage at all, or is it still like
cut the footprint in half? I think, but he's keeping the land.
Yeah,
so it's going to be the full size at some point.
This is where like the economists write about the tragedy of the commons, right? So they're going to use the water, they're going to potentially pollute local areas, and that's going to create some pushback. And this is where we're back to SpaceX. If the data center in space really works, I actually pulled the patent for that because they filed the patent, and it looks pretty good. They basically have a server rack in the middle of a satellite, and it's kind of wild. But, Musk isn't gonna have to deal with any of this stuff. And this is
probably gonna like.
Yeah, we just get
be
the
an
data
issue.
centers in space.
Yeah, there's no tragedy of the common issue
Yeah.
at all. They have other issues.
Right.
But they don't have to fight with people politically who just aren't really thrilled about this.
Yeah.
And they live there, so I mean, it's not like their point is crazy.
Right, and you can, like, for a local, it's like you can make an argument, oh yeah, it's gonna benefit, but like, they don't care about that, they care about like the immediate here and now and what's directly affecting them, right? Because that's what matters, ultimately, like, just within their life and what's going on, so, yeah, it's gonna be just a constant, I feel like this is just gonna be more and more of a thing, I don't know, I mean, I think if, I think I was talking with Quinn and Mohammed, like if there's another article you might have sent, but it was like kind of like, well, if someone else, if this area has pushback and they drive it out, well, then some other area is just going to be incentivized to take it instead. So it's kind of just, I don't know. It's coming regardless. They'll just find some Al.
Also, add on the data centers in space thing, you need the data centers for model training.
Yes.
Which doesn't have a latency aspect, and then you need it for inference, which is where you talk to the model and it spits something back out to you really quickly. And if you have the data centers in space, those aren't good enough for the back and forth. So there's going to need to be data centers on Earth.
Yeah.
If we're just at the start right now of this huge build out, I think there's still going to be massive demand. I feel like the demand now, even if we didn't have data centers in space, the demand now is.
I think the latency is the speed of light. Right?
Well, technologically speaking, I think actually, I don't know like a lot about this, but on the interview with Jamie Dimon and Elon, they said it's probably not gonna be a major issue, like they're lowering the orbit, so the satellites are gonna be probably like the lowest orbit satellites, and then they're gonna be increasing it, and it's gonna be the better version. So, I don't know, technically speaking, what's specifically changing, but they did mention like latency is not gonna be like a super major issue actually, because
that's right.
Because also like he does, Musk is accounting significantly more latency to be accounted for. Like he talks significantly about like Neuralink, obviously, where the bits per second of communication is around like less than 100 for humans, but he predicts it to be plus 10,000 million, crazy number stuff. So I obviously think he's accounting for that. Yeah.
It seems like ultimately maybe the play is just going to be data centers in space, yeah.
What I found interesting about what he's doing in this article isn't that he's leaning into selling data centers. Obviously, we know there's going to be a segment of the population that leans into it, and others that are more opposed to it, as we've seen in previous weeks and previous articles. What I found really interesting was that what he's essentially doing is that he's almost unionizing the effort behind selling into data centers. So it's not like a fragmented effort. He's saying, all right, let's try and get within a geographical location, let's ground up all the homeowners who are willing to sell. Let's package them together and try to maximize the value per home. So that, if you have one home and you're selling to a data center, they might offer you $1 million. But under this sort of arrangement, under this umbrella, you might get $4 million per home because they have power through numbers. So
I'd like to know what the attraction is to building data centers near population centers. Is it the electrical grid?
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
So
the infrastructure.
Wouldn't 2 years from now, small modular reactors completely level the playfield? You can build out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, the space or the X data center they built in Missouri, they basically created their own utility plant, is my understanding, and this was a giant regulatory effort, clearing all this red tape to just start a new power grid. You got to argue with the local politicians and all of this. But yeah, that would sidestep all of that. So
we did
theoretically,
you and then
I'd say ideally along the same line as the Bears conversation we just had, you would want the taxpayer to pay for as much as possible. Realistically, we'll tap into the infrastructure and all that.
Also add to the latency thing. I just ChatGPT'd it. That's why I just looked around like that off that question. But yeah, it seems like they can figure out a way to make it quick enough. It's just shooting lasers from space is fast enough. The issue is just going to be switches, getting it around and everything like that.
Yeah, I also want to toss in I was going to look this up, but like cable cutting and undersea cables, it's a major war issue. So you're going to war, they're just going to cut your fiber optics. So Jamie Dimon mentioned that as something like they count that in their JP Morgan prediction models. But if you're having an orbit, that largely eliminates that threat. So that's another major incentive.
So necessity is the mother of invention.
I'm seeing
The only limit to technology, the Elon side, would be physics.
Yeah. See if Claude can find. I'm just curious if there's any historical parallels.
Satellites themselves. It's just something else.
Taking a while here.
Yeah. So then it might be interesting just to think, like, in the future, is there any reason at all to have data centers close by? Like, if there's gonna be a breakdown of regulation and everything like that, and they can just put nuclear reactors out in the desert with like something there, or put it in space, is there gonna be any reason at all to put it around a population center? No, right?
I mean, the entry would be one, at least for the time being.
Yeah. And then economies of scale, these things need to be massive, so maybe the people.
Okay, so the only pushback I'm going to give to that is like if anybody's like really technically savvy, like local hosting is a very big deal. So I don't personally like running my models on data centers for several reasons, but if you local host it, it's privacy. You know, privacy is by far the biggest issue. And if you don't know a lot about privacy, essentially it's people can sell your data to somebody else, or at least have it get leaked in a hack, and then boom, you can get like fraud and identity theft, and people can use your data to sell you higher bank loans, or increase your plane ticket price and stuff like that. So if you're running it locally, you have full total control over this, and so that's a very big deal for a lot of people, and especially if you're running in-home servers, which a lot of people are starting to do. Just buy your GPUs, set it up in a little rack in your corner, and then as models get further quantized, which basically means same intelligence but less compute, which is, as far as I'm also hearing, is increasing. So you can run extremely intelligent models, maybe, who knows, extremely theoretically, to the point where you're running something like this on your little GPU in your home, in your own little basement for like $2,000, which is next level bizarre. But so that's probably like the biggest reason, like if you don't want to sell away your data, which is obviously another existential risk.
So you'll be one of the first out there to buy the new NVIDIA GPU run PC.
This is already happening a lot. It's called local hosting, so it's a very big movement. A lot of people are already setting up little server racks at their own home, and then you can also rent it to your friends. So it's a distributed net of where I can run it from my own little apartments, and then if I have a friend, I install all the software, I build all the software myself, so I lock it down myself. I'm not going to any third-party vendor necessarily. I literally own the code, I own everything, and so I can just sell it to my friend. So very distributed, kind of like a more distributed, less centralized network of just an economy for compute, really. Yeah.
Going back to I just looked up the historical parallels, if there's anything similar to this thing in Virginia going on. So yeah, there have been like Disney, Florida Land. Okay, they bought 27,000 acres in Central Florida swampland through dummy corporations, and sellers wouldn't know the deep-pocketed end buyer was Disney, jack up prices, okay. Yeah, so Disney solved it through secrecy, okay. Regency is trying to do, okay, different sides. LAX, okay. The coastal neighborhood adjacent to LAX is bought out, demolished, okay. Yeah, oil boom towns, yeah, during the whole oil boom, same thing happened. Dam towns. Okay, so this is kind of like history repeating itself, just with these industrial boom times. Yes. Yeah, 1880s. What is this, coal patch? I don't know. Okay, yeah. So this is just more of the same. Industrial boom. Resident. It's like there's demand, huge demand for build outs, for space, for land, whatever. Residents are, and they get kind of, pushed to sell, and they kind of try to get something out of it, I guess, they're going to do it. So how that goes. We're probably we're going to see more and more of this, going forward. All right, so it's kind of getting later and we need to wrap it up soon. So we're gonna do a lightning round. And so basically lightning, you just bring up any stock you want to bring up and we'll just dive into it. So who's got stocks they want to bring up and talk about? Yeah, Al, go.
Just coming back to CBRS, I feel like we didn't look at that one enough. What do you think the valuation? What do you think? Is it time? Or is there not going to be a better time?
I have no idea what these types of things, like, I think what they're doing is probably extremely important. And so down the line, could this be like $1 trillion company if we're assuming the scaling curves are going the way they're going? Like, yeah, so you just buy it based on that speculation, but I could not. I would ask Professor Damadoran to try to do a DCF valuation and figure it out for me, you know, like, or Claude or something like this. Who knows what it should value at? But I know that here's the thing: if it's really important and it's really like, and they do it better than like almost everyone else or basically everyone else, then that's a moat. If they have a moat on it, and it's like I read something I know with Cerebrus, and I think their CEO was talking about this, but it's kind of like they can't really like they had been working on this type of thing for like 20 years or something crazy. Like this has been like long in the making. So I don't know, but I guess you just bet on the company and what they can do and the moat. Like,
I think this company's either going to be 0 or 1.
Yeah. So
it's much closer to 1.
So if you think about it, okay, like think about it like a venture capital type investment. You know, allocate small. Maybe this becomes like a big, massive compounder, or it just goes to 0. So be it. You know.
I'll tell you what I also put it. You said ask Claude. I put a question about this stock into Claude with the Mythos paper, or not the Mythos paper, that recent paper that we just saw, plus the churning and burning paper as well, and just kept prompting it about it.
Yeah.
And it said it likes it a lot.
Yeah.
It thinks $200.
I mean, and I'm not an expert on this, but I know like Grok with a Q, which got acquired by NVIDIA, also for premium, seems to be very comparable. And I don't know enough about inference, but I did like the interviews with Grok's CEO that have come out and have been posted in previous meetings. So like, and what they're doing is very essential to like helping with the speed and the other stuff when it comes to like you're using your AI, whatever it is. So yeah, it's essential. And so like it's an essential tech type of play. You could lump it in almost like not the same, but maybe there's shades of like what ASML is to the, fabrication aspects. So that's
then it'll just be 2 companies that do it.
Yeah.
It'll be Grok it'll be NVIDIA.
Yeah, because Grok's NVIDIA now. Smart. So maybe Cerebrus, maybe someone buys them out. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe SpaceX goes for who knows. Or he does his own thing. All right. Who else? Quinn, did you have one?
Go ahead, Victor.
Well, I'm just gonna piggyback because this IPO'd this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was doing some research into stocks that IPO'd this year that fit our model and the Claude prompts very well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw me playing around there the other day, but EQPT.
I did see you.
Yeah. So
equipmentshare.com.
Yep.
But this is not like grab a gun, is it?
No. So this actually scored really well in the model, and when I looked into this, I essentially was just like,
oh, construction rental.
Yeah. So they're a construction rental, so they have like the physical kind of hardware level, then they have their software layer, and then kind of the real like lock in your customer base aspect is that it doesn't matter what brand you use for whatever different pieces of equipment you're renting. Their software allows it so that they can all work together and like be in the same ecosystem, even if you're using, John Deere here and Caterpillar over here, like they'll still be able to work together. You'll be able to monitor all that. Founder, CEOs, it's 2 brothers, vertically integrated. But basically the reason I started looking into these IPO names is my logic was just, I think there's a lot of money on the sidelines that people are kind of holding off for the SpaceX IPO. So I was like, maybe there's a little less hype around these other names that have IPO this year that I think have good businesses that could be trading at a relative discount to their IPO level. So this one screened out for me personally. And it's one I'm keeping an eye on.
Yeah, you look at this and, interesting forward P and, $5 billion Market cap, it is kind of leveraged, but that's kind of normal for businesses like this. I mean, 5 billion, you got a mid cap with some run potential as a stock and something that's pretty essential. I mean, there's going to be demand, more demand for renting industrial equipment. You know, this is like a mini United Rentals, the company I think your brother works for, right? And so it's like with the construction needs for like building data centers,
Well, I asked around to some people that I know that work in construction, and there is a bit of a pain in which you kind of have to be just true to one brand for equipment.
Interesting.
Because it's difficult to get them to work together and like you track all of it. So this kind of gets rid of that pain point, which I thought was pretty interesting. So then you can use whatever piece of equipment you like better for whatever task you're trying to complete, regardless of the brand.
This is definitely one to watch, and not that it matters too, but it's crashed quite a bit lately. Off the IPO. So this goes more within line with what I told John about, like what I usually think about IPOs, like you wait several months. Now it's been like 6 months or so, and this thing has already crashed from its IPO. Reasonable valuation expectations, not too big, you know, not too small, so it's legit. Website seems legit. You want to buy your bulldozer, you know, or sorry, rent your bulldozer for your, like this is.
Add to cart.
Yeah, add to cart. Start buying someday. How many do you want? Right? We got some
up and escalates to the show. I'm going in the bulldozer.
TIG. We got some big physical stuff we need to build. No, this is interesting. And what was it on that Teal and Camillo?
I don't remember exactly. It was above 80.
It was up there.
I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was above 80. So
okay, this is interesting. Keep an eye on this.
Do you know their margins? I feel like this is going to be similar models as like rental cars. I feel like there's going to be a lot of need for what we call operations on these equipments. If they get broken, they're going to need to do insurance or just put some money into it. Do they have a lot of cash?
yeah, it's capital intensive, so they do have cash on hand. I don't know the exact numbers, so because it just recently IPO'd, like all that good financial information is still kind of, still kind of hard to see. So I don't know. I think they're
well, if this forward PE makes sense, then they're going to be profitable next year. But
yeah, I think they're scheduled to report their like first public earnings sometime in August. So we'll get a better picture then. So I think it's early to get in now, but I found it. I'm a little excited about it.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd usually wait until after that first, public quarterly earnings report. You get a lot more clarity after that, but I just thought it fit the model real well.
Yeah.
It scored 81 on the thing.
Nice. Quinn, did you want to go?
Yeah, I want to talk about Marvel Technologies.
MOVL.
So Jensen just came out last week and said this is going to be the next $1 trillion company.
Oh my God,
what
that's
is
not the stock, dude.
It's at 250 billion right now, so that's 3 times.
We missed it.
Did we? That's the question.
Or did we?
If he's right, it's still here.
Yeah.
I sold them when I bought Broadcom.
Oh no!
Didn't Broadcom get hit with the earnings lately?
Yeah.
It happens, the expectations are hard.
Chopped off.
Yeah, so I mean,
oh man,
that's 1.8 trillion. I didn't realize how big they were. But going back to Marvel, yeah. So what is Marvel's? I mean, they're part of the whole bottleneck. The whole what's their sort of thing? I haven't really. Let's see. What is?
I don't know it. Jensen's saying it's a
Jensen
trillion
likes it,
company.
yeah.
It's like Pelosi buying.
True. Well, Jensen hypes up everything, to be fair, but he's usually has good. I mean, they always are partnered with everybody, but I wouldn't go against that for sure.
I mean, if they're friends, it fits into my SMCI.
Oh yeah,
thesis.
yeah. Are they buddies? Are they like smuggling?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What's this? I just want to real quick check SMCI. That's been kind of 43. Look at that.
Oh yeah, we're back.
Oh yeah,
We're so back.
Back in business. Let's get some more smuggling going, right?
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's not a just for the camera. That's not a. Don't put us in jail for that one. All right. Marvel's current positioning. All right, we're asking Claude about this. Yeah, so any of these sort of lesser known AI related, I mean, still known, but not like at the forefront. Just like when Victor mentioned like DELL at the last meeting, and then that freaking thing went up like gangbusters the next day on earnings, and Michael Dell is just killing it apparently. He's been killing it all these years, yeah.
I mean, I got pretty lucky with that timing, but I think like 2 weeks before I mentioned it, Trump said people should go buy Dell stock.
Okay, well.
So.
Oh, really?
So,
Trump stock special.
So he was actually 2 weeks even earlier than I was. Guy's a good trader.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like he has knowledge about what's happening.
Okay, so Marvel, optics, interconnect, okay, they're kind of custom silicon. Okay. Connective tissue for, okay, all that stuff. Yes. NVIDIA relationship.
Last week in April.
They expanded the partnership. Okay. Silicon photonics, custom silicon, okay, letting customers build XPUs integrate seamlessly with NVIDIA GPU networking and storage platforms. So they're kind of like the connective tissue for a lot of this stuff with NVIDIA and other things. Okay. And rare position, merchant arms dealer to the hyperscalers building NVIDIA alternatives. Oh, Trainium, like Trainium, Amazon Trainium. I should also mention, previous meeting, I sent some videos with Gavin Baker, who's like the leading semis guy, talking about how he thinks Amazon Trainium is going to be the big thing, the big play for second half 2026, and, just because of their cost relative to the other options. Well, Amazon's, okay, Amazon's a play. Also, Chris Camillo is big on Amazon, part of our Teal Lynch Camillo thing, so that's a play. So Marvel is, okay, so they're like partnered with NVIDIA, but then they can do things for TPUs and Amazon Trainium, if I'm reading this correctly. So that's very interesting. Okay, there's definitely optionality they have in just being that connective provider or something for this AI infrastructure stuff, if I'm reading this right. So that actually is a very good, I think even at this level, now you're not going to get like you're not going to get the type of run you got from, INHD today, that little micro, but could you get a 4x to a trillion? Probably. Maybe within a couple of years, which is still a good return on investment, if you're thinking from that perspective. So I think that's a pretty solid one. The ratios, the metrics are rich, but obviously the growth rates are probably insane. So you could argue however you want if that's justified. But again, these scaling curves have been pretty crazy. So I think, yeah, there's definitely a case for this.
But he said it's the next $1 trillion company, Quinn?
I think didn't he just say it's going to be a $1 trillion company? Either way, I mean, that's quite the statement.
Is it now a $1 trillion company because he said so? No.
Still pretty far to get there.
Okay.
We'll see. All right, who else? Who else has something? Stock? Anyone?
Enhanced,
yeah. Enhanced bounce back. I mean, we talked about it last meeting, and my whole thesis on this, it tanked like 40-50% the day after. Most of us buy, I think my average was like 370s. Most people got in like high 2s, low 3s. They're basically breaking all the moral rules, allowing steroids and all kinds of PEDs for their sports competitions, targeting Olympic type sports, which don't usually have money in them, throwing money at the athletes. Now, and again, backed by Peter Thiel and Trump Jr. So it basically breaks it's like, if you're about the morals, definitely probably not an investment for you. But if you are about stock go up and speculation within like a 1-2 year time frame, then the expectation that they start marketing like peptides, which has been deregulated recently, and will, they're trying to roll that out, then I think from a stock go up within 1 to 2 years, there's a potential multi-bagger play within that. But long term, who knows with stuff like this. What was there news today on why it went up 40% or just kind of a bounce back?
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything either. Yeah, we can look up why, but
I saw the enhanced games.
People are getting ads,
their
right?
entire like philosophy behind it was like, oh, let's just demolish world records, and they set one world record.
Right.
Because, yeah, one world record amongst like, I don't know, 50 to 60 events.
It's just hard to break a world record even if you're juiced up. And to be fair, a lot of the world records might be juiced up anyway. So, but again, and they're getting athletes. The athletes they tend to be convincing are kind of these past their prime. Like they might be Olympians, but they're not like peak form. You know, it's like retired, coming back from retirement to get the money, right? So, but we'll see. Like I said last meeting, if they start throwing like several million at some of these like swimming and track people, then it might be like a version of what they did with Live Golf, but maybe it could be successful in that angle, you know, because that could incite some people like current Olympic medalist type people to just jump over. And also they have the option to compete unenhanced. I don't know how I guess they just designate that, like Fred Curley, who's kind of in his peak as a track runner, like competed as a non-enhanced guy. So you could like still compete in the Olympics and be eligible for that. But you know, okay. So I guess if you have that angle, you can have like clean versus juiced up, even though they might all be juiced up. But
do their products sell to the public without a doctor's approval?
I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah. It's that gray area.
So it's gonna be
yes.
High school and college athletes that are drinking this stuff.
and millennials and older, like who want to kind of stay in whatever.
I think they want to become like a row or Roman.
They're kind of what hymns and all the, it's like they're going for peptides. That's a big thing. Probably GLP-1s.
Is Enhanced specifically focused on athletes? Because I'm not aware of Enhanced.
So they have this competition, and as far as I know, they just had, it's like a once a year thing to start. It's called the Enhanced Games, where it's like basically it's like a mini Olympics, except they're all on steroids.
Everybody's told to take all the stuff.
It's like there's some.
Just making up anything.
What are the athletes on? It's like 80% using roids, like 70% using like Adderall or something, like.
And then like the person that went, they like print their stack, right? They're like, oh, this is what they did.
That's awesome. It's over the top ridiculous.
It really
it's completely just over the top. And of course, the IOC, the Olympic Committee, is like really pissed about it. Like, then again, I don't know how much room they have to talk because they're just as corrupt as FIFA. But that's.
I mean, the sponsorships could be huge.
Yeah,
like if you've got your most enhanced person on a, you know, those medical marketing spends are just giant.
Yeah. Did you want to say?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess this hasn't really been brought up, but like my kind of like super vague, kind of like, I don't know, toss out ideas. Like this is probably more related to military, of like testing how do you create superhumans and advanced military.
It could be, and
like Teal's obviously very involved.
Yeah,
with,
if Teal's involved, you bet. Like I'm sure they've considered something like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many comic books about this.
Captain America. Like
that's right.
I don't know, but yeah, there's
Captain America.
I think there was from like a health standard perspective, they were only allowed to start like juicing or taking whatever medications they wanted. I think it was 2 months prior. The time frame might be a little bit off, but there was like a health standard behind it. They were like, you could only start 2 months prior to the event, but you can like just juice up as much as you want within that window.
So I don't know. I do know that it's a big marketing machine. It's already really cranking out the ads all over social media. They got that, like I said before, that crazy Brian Johnson guy, the like don't die dude, who's like, and he's playing into it. Like he had a whole umbrella to protect himself from the sun. He's very like over the top. And then of course on Twitter, everyone's kind of roasting him, but then it's like, well, that's more eyeballs, that's more clicks.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's like they want the controversy. They want it because it sells. It's like any bad news is actually good news for them. They want that, because they're not coming from a place of, they're not standing on morals at all. They're coming from the exact opposite. So from a business standpoint and a stock standpoint, it's like that's your, risk reward kind of angle within that. Now, will there probably inevitably be like some health complication? Someone ends up like overdosing, who knows what.
On the winner platform, just keels over.
Yeah.
Becomes Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
Can we
all right.
revisit hymns before we hang up?
Yes. Let's see how all the recent stuff with hymns. I think they had been getting some run on the peptide thing, but it's sort of stagnated lately. I mean, healthcare's just been taking a while to get going. Still though, I mean, I think they had their latest earnings came out and it wasn't like blow you away. You know, I think there's still kind of might have been mixed. They're not just crazy beating expectations. Valuation, you could argue, I don't know if it's still rich or not. I mean, there's a lot of growth potential with it, but still kind of needs to get its act together. I think they're probably in a better place than when we talked about them over here. And it's not that much higher. But again, it's like a stay patient, wait for the sort of eventual trends to come in, the whole peptide craze. I know they're diving into like peptides with their whole manufacturing facility, but again, we might need a few quarters to see the actual numbers in the growth.
Anybody still holding hymns?
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes.
Victor, yeah.
Still.
So I sold my hymns and Palantir right after earnings.
Really? Okay.
I told you,
Well,
I think the next
that's
quarter,
fine,
they're
yeah.
just gonna.
I just want to see Palantir. Still down there. But yeah, so it again with hymns, just if you believe in the long-term vision, then again, it's like a risk reward type thing at 6 billion market cap. Like this could be tens of billions if they execute on all their plans. But again, healthcare is something that's like the hardest industry or one of the hardest industries to disrupt. So you got all the things. Yeah.
But I'll say since it first came on our radar, you'd say it came on your radar in like 24, 25 maybe, right?
Yeah.
Hymns. I think since then, since they've dropped down, back then they were the brand. They were everywhere. Now it's like they've partnered with other people. You see Row everywhere. You see Weight Watchers stuff. And now Enhanced Games, Hymns is not the same horse that they once
So
were.
again, yeah, it's like anyone can kind of do a GLP-1 peptides marketing type startup. I mean, there is the case about I think one guy just with AI made like a multi-billion-dollar revenue business just on doing some GLP thing, just vibe coding it. But I think there may have been some other complications with that. But it's like it's easy to get things started. It's more the play of like, can they brand? Can they beat that competition? Can they build a moat? I believe I'm still bullish on that, but the competition has stepped up, no doubt about that. But you know, it's just a battleground stock, and again, speculation, risk reward. That's just how you got to play it. If you're going to play it, it's not going to be an easy investment. It's going to be very volatile the whole way. So, any other?
I have this sort of non-stock question for the people in the room. In terms of just like themes that we're seeing are highly innovative right now, or 0 to 1, or actually doing something that are good investments. I've been thinking about this every now and then. For me, in my head, it's just pretty much AI or space or peptides, hymns sort of stuff. I don't really see anything else that's like a distinct thing to invest in right now that's genuinely has real innovative potential and real stock upside potential. What do other people think?
Well, I think you're missing a big field, medical field. There's drug discovery, that's a big element, but there's also like the delivery of healthcare. And I was doing a lot of research on this because I found Boston Scientific, it sold off like 50% in the last couple of months because they've been losing a lot of ground to their competitors. You can take a look, but that led me down a rabbit hole of like, okay, which one of these, med tech companies is best positioned for transitioning to AI? Or leveraging AI and maximizing their efficiencies? And the answer was Intuitive Surgical. Purely because they have the most data out of anybody. They have run, I believe it was billions, maybe not billions, but millions for sure of surgeries. And them having that data set alone puts them ahead of everybody else who's even considering doing something like this. Because, having the funding and the ability is one thing, but having the data to train your model on is a completely different thing. So they're the beast, and I'd say definitely keep an eye on this space, but this is going to be the behemoth, I think.
And we have this in the TIG portfolio too. So we're on this. We've been on this, and I think Victor brought it up initially, right?
Yeah.
call them that one. But yeah, they've been around. They're not like a new player. They've been around in like the robotic surgery space, especially what they call like non-invasive surgery. So I guess it's not like super high tier, whatever, surgical treatments or whatever. But again, it's like they're at the forefront. They kind of have a moat on this. You know, it's like, and with medicine, med tech, again, it's something it's not easy to sort of break into. So I think they're in a good position. Yeah, for growth. And I think we're definitely keeping this for a while, especially with the healthcare trends, the AI, just everything, robotics, all that. It's primed to just get a run off that, even if it's not been moving like crazy lately. So yeah, that is a very solid one.
Just adding on to this topic, I think, just to my knowledge in the healthcare sector is mainly M&A industry. So whoever owns the most cash wins them all. So companies like Eli Lilly, big pharmas are going to win them all because they're going to acquire all of the small companies that have already done an R&D, because R&D takes so much time and effort. So all of the companies who has the most cash will win. And continuing with the topic that you asked, Al, I think the next sector that is going to boom is the robotics industry. And that Jensen has already mentioned that Nexus robotic after the agentic AI. We have this agent's AI set up. What are we going to do with it? We are making it, computers, but we're going to put them in robots so that these robots can come into our individual lives and make huge differences, and also manufacturing facilities. And that's going to be a lot of great plays going forward. I think Amazon is very big, and also Tesla has great potential. A lot of torques and a lot of those machine parts will be very vulnerable and will be low in supply in the future. But it's the actual execution. How long will it take? That's the question that we have to ask.
I feel like, it's a question of, is it like the SMRs or like quantum where it's too early? Because being too early is the same thing as being wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you can get an 80% drawdown before you actually get right,
And the opportunity cost, like I'd rather be in Micron if it's going to take another 2 years before like AMBA or AUS runs or something like that.
You want to mention Automate?
Automate? What's the?
No, that's the event we're going to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So me and John have signed up for this Automate event. I think this is for the automobile industry, right?
No, it's all robotics.
It's all robotics. Okay. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. It's 2 weeks from now.
The 24th, we're going.
So
Automate is the annual robotics expo, which is going to be at McCormick Place. It's 3 days. It's free if you want to go. And it's basically all of the most advanced robotics that are being implemented in everywhere. But not a whole lot of, there'll be a little bit about humanoids, but not a lot. It's mostly in manufacturing and processing, and it's amazing stuff. I went 2 years ago. So we're going to be going and looking, getting an idea of, just to your point, is this the emerging tech trend that we need to get into?
Yeah, so it says June 22nd to 25th. I just saw, yep. 800 plus exhibitors, 40,000 professionals, yep. Registration's free. I think they do have tiers for certain things, right?
They have seminars that are going to be doing on different topics if you want to go dive deep.
I think even just going to the thing is pretty good. But yeah, this will definitely be something to look into. Maybe we get some insights. Maybe we get some insider information, legal insider information.
Yeah, the more people we get to go, the better, because we can all just spread out and try and collect information.
Yeah, maybe we can do it like an announcement on the Discord.
How much is this thing?
It's coming out. It's free.
Great.
So yeah,
we can make a channel in Discord.
Yeah, and we can make a channel like the group we're going to, because we wanted to do that for the CloudCon. We met some people from that, but that thing kind of filled up quick. They didn't have much capacity for it. But for this, it seems like there's space. We can all go and just crash it, see how it is, see if we can learn anything insightful that maybe the markets are not reflecting yet. But
Yeah. I went 2 years ago with a number of people from the tech group here at the club, which is a special interest group. And I don't think we had enough focus or enough intellectual capital present to know what we were really looking for or looking at. But with the, combined interest around the table here, we could be asking much more intelligent questions. And they are there to give answers. They're not hiding anything. These guys are standing around for 4 days, just dying for somebody to come talk to them, literally. So you can go and you can ask anything you want. It's fascinating what you can learn.
But do you think there's gonna be anything there to find that you can't find online?
Well, you're gonna see it in action. So, I think there's value in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely usually stuff that's not online. Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Oh, yeah.
I'll just mention that USO, the oil ETF fund, continues to perform pretty well, even though oil continues to kind of have ups and downs. It's really sort of.
So what's the tracking with that versus oil?
Well, so trading derivatives and futures is kind of a difficult thing. There's a lot of insider, I don't want to say insider, but there's deep knowledge on how to understand the structure of these markets. And so the guys that run USO are pretty good at that. And what they've been doing is buying the forward curve of the crude oil complex fairly intelligently. So I don't know if you want to go to Chicago Mercantile Exchange real quick and pull up the CME Group website and go to crude oil, you'll see that the future dated crude contracts are actually priced less. And that's the forward curve.